Hi, my name is Nate Olson. I'm the principal bass of the Omaha Symphony, and today we're going to talk about a few warm-up exercises to get our practice day going. So there's kind of, you can take a lot of different approaches to this, and it kind of depends on your day. Do you have a lot of practice time? Do you have just a little bit of practice time? Do you've got a lot of rehearsal? So you can have, some people have warm-up routines that take 2 hours, but you're not going to have 2 hours every day just to warm up on your instrument. So I kind of have things that I add in or out depending on how much time I have to warm up. But generally, I kind of just have like a 15-20 minute thing that's just a combination of a few exercises I like to do just to get going on the bass. The first one I like to do is just to get the sound production going. So this is just an open strings exercise. I'll set my metronome at 60, and these are just long bows where I'll start with 4 or 6 beats per bow. And I'll just keep adding beats. So I'll do six beats per bow, and I'll do that on a down bow and an up bow, and then I'll do 8 beats per bow, and I'll do that on a down bow and an up bow. And this is kind of where the time restrictions come into play. If I've got plenty of time, I'll see how far I can go. If I can get it to 16 beats per bow, 18 beats per bow, 20. It kind of is just a test to see how far you can push it. And then the other part of this is I like to do this all forte, just really focusing on a consistent sound all the way throughout. So let's give that a try. So for now, I'll start with 4 beats and we'll try 6 beats after that. So a couple things to think about doing that, and I'll do that on each string. So I'll start at 4 or 6 on the E string and then work my way up, and then I'll go to the A string, start at 4 or 6 and work my way up. But 2 things you want to think. We want to keep the sound as consistent as possible through the bow. So I just want to make sure I'm using the same bow speed from the frog to the tip and the same amount of weight. And also as we get closer to the tip, make sure we're pronating so that we're getting more of our arm weight into the first finger. Let me try that on the A string now. Another great thing to do with this exercise is if you can do it in front of a mirror and make sure that your bow is staying perpendicular to the strings as much as possible as you move out. Sometimes you'll see people kind of drift their arm up as they work their way out to the tip, and if they get back to the frog, sometimes you'll see this. So we want to keep the bow as perpendicular to the string as possible. So that's my first warm-up exercise I like to do. Why don't we try it a few times with, we will start with, let's go ahead and just move on to the D string, and we'll start with 4 beats per bow. We'll do that on a down bow and then an up bow. And then when we get back to the frog, we'll do 6 beats per bow. So we'll go 4, 6, and 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. So this is my favorite warm-up to start with. It gets the bass moving, it gets the rosin warmed up on the bow hair a little bit, and just kind of gets you connected to the instrument. From there, my next exercise that I like to do is actually from a bass teacher named George Vance. He has a set of books that are available still. And this is from his Vade, the book is titled Vade Mecum. It has a lot of kind of warm-up exercises and scales and stuff in there. But this exercise is called Learning the Curvature of the Bridge. So it's a string crossing exercise, and it's just to kind of help us feel as comfortable changing from one string to the next as possible. So it's also an open string exercise. I don't remember off the top of my head if there is a tempo that he marks in that book to start with, but I like to set my metronome to 80 for this one. And so we'll start with quarter notes. So you do one note per beat, and we'll do four notes per bow. So it'll go a little something like this. And the goal with this is you want it to be as fluid as possible. And the way our bridges are shaped aren't always quite even, but your goal is to make it so that your arm is moving up and down at the same rate, as much as similar as you can get it, but just as close to the same rate as you can the entire time, and just as smooth and fluid as possible. So after you start down bow on the E string and you feel comfortable in that direction, try it from the other direction. So we'll start on the G string. And then once you feel comfortable at quarter notes, then you try eighth notes. And this one's a little different since it's a shorter amount of time you have to play. I like to do, or I think in the book it has, you do 6 notes per bow. So you'll start on the E, and then you'll go E, A, D, G, D, A, and then when you get back to the E, then you switch to an up bow. So it'll look like this. Again, like the quarter notes, then you'll start on the G string. And then from there, it kind of keeps going up or the subdivisions keep getting smaller. So then you can do triplets, so it looks like this. And then it goes triplets, I think, in the book, and then it goes to sextuplets. So let's go back to the quarters and try that together once. So we will do just 4 notes per bow, and change when you get to the G, and then change when you get back down to the E. And then we'll switch halfway through. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Switch to starting on the G. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's it for that exercise. I just find it is a great way to feel even more connected to the bass with the bow. Just kind of gets things moving, gets your body adjusted to it. So those are my first 2 warm-up exercises that I like to do, and really they focus on the bow and just open strings. The third one I like to do gets the left hand going. So for this one, I also like, you can do different metronome or tempos for this one as well. And this is an exercise that I've seen done a variety of different ways. The way that I learned it, I think it was called Max's Magic, after the current principal bass of the Cleveland Orchestra. So it focuses on, you don't shift, you just stay in one position. You can pick any position you want, whether it's first position on the D string, or I like to do it with my first finger starting on C on the G string. And it just goes through the different combinations of fingerings that we'll see in the repertoire. So you'll start with combinations of twos. So you'll do 1 and 2s, 1 and 4s, and then you reverse them and go 2, 1, 2, 1, or 4, 1, 4, 1. And then after you get through those combinations, then you'll go to the possible combinations of 3 different fingers. So 1, 2, 4, 2, 1, 2, 4, 2, or 1, 4, 2, 4, 1, 4, 2, 4. And so, yeah, I'll just demonstrate that once with the metronome at 80, and I'll be doing 16th notes. So this will be, this is going to start with 1 and 2, 3, 4. And then 1 and 4. And then 2 and 4. And then 4, 2. And 4, 1. And 2, 1. Then from there, then we go into the combinations of 3. So it's going to start with 1, 2, 4, 2. So it'll look like this. And then we'll go to 1, 4, 2, 4, which looks like this. And then from there, then we just kind of reverse it like we did with the combinations of 2. So we'll start on 4, and we'll go 4, 2, 1, 2, look like this. And then the last one will be 4, 1, 2, 1, which will look like this. And so this is an exercise that just kind of gets your left hand warmed up and loose, and you can do it at all kinds of speeds. So if you do it a little slower, you want to focus on, we don't want our fingers to come too high off the string. We don't want to flap too much. It's kind of just unnecessary movement that can get in the way at faster speeds. So if you want to slow it down to maybe even 8th notes at 60, so I'll just keep it at 80 for now. So this would be 8th notes at 80. And focus on keeping the finger as close to the string as possible. And then once you start to feel comfortable with that, then you can speed it up. Sometimes I like to do 8ths at 60, so twice as fast as 16ths, and just kind of really push yourself to see how quickly you can do it. So let's try it once together. Let's all start on a C, first finger on the G string, and we'll just go through the 2s real quick once together. So the 2 combinations of 2s. So we'll start with 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 4, 1, 4, and then 2, 4, 2, 4, and then 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 1, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So let's try that all together now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alrighty, awesome. So these are just 3 exercises that I like to do at the start of my practice day or performance day, just to get the right hand and the left hand moving together.